I'm really honored to be here today to share Breaking the Pain Cycle, mind body tools to transform chronic pain. And I know you're all here listening because you're looking for real tools to help break free from chronic symptoms. And I promise we'll get into some simple yet powerful strategies you can start using today. But part of this journey is also understanding why pain happens and how the brain and nervous system play a major role in keeping those symptoms going. Once you start to see that clearly, everything begins to shift. So, my purpose is to share my story in the hopes that my narrative inspires others to recognize the significance of the mind body connection and to help individuals understand the mechanisms behind their experiences of pain. So sometimes pain can become chronic in our life. And this presentation is going to show you how and why that happens. So if we understand the why, we can find strategies to eliminate chronic symptoms and prevent other symptoms in our life and in our bodies from becoming long term. So by the end of this presentation, you'll walk away with a strategy to shift your mindset and a technique to regulate your nervous system to lead a more fulfilling life. So who knows what they wore to work last Thursday? Or who knows what they ate for breakfast last Thursday? So I would be shocked if any of you can even remember that. But who can remember a significant date from months ago, years ago, even 10 years ago, where you can remember the details of the event, what you were doing, what you were wearing, who you were with? Well, that's called a flashbulb memory. They have emotional intensity and significance where we can recall significant details of an event with clarity, as if a photo was taken. My name is Laura Haraka, and today I would like to share with you my story from a date that is ingrained in my mind, my flashbulb memory of May 2nd, 2015. So my day started out like any other day. I was a stay-at-home mom and PTA president, and I drove my kids to school, came home, I went to the bathroom, and a few moments later, I had to go to the bathroom again. And in that moment, I knew something was terribly wrong. I thought I had a UTI. So I grabbed a yogurt, had some cranberry juice, and hoped it would pass. When it didn't, I went to my primary care doctor, hoping to just get on an antibiotic and be on my way and get back to my life. So when I went to the doctor, the test results showed that there was absolutely no infection, but I was in a lot of pain. And the pain just got worse over time. So from that moment, I went on a 4-year quest to figure out the cause of my pain and to find relief. I went to over 25 doctors across the United States, and I was given 10 different diagnoses, all under the umbrella of pelvic pain. I had multiple tests and procedures, and I'll spare you the details, but they were very invasive and traumatic. I even had a surgery to correct what they thought was causing my pain. And this quest came at a financial cost. I spent thousands of dollars traveling and on expensive medical bills. But the more important cost that were rising was the guilt and the sadness due to the disconnection between my family, my children, and my friends. And each time I went to another doctor, they had me believe that what they provided was going to help me. It was going to be the answer. But basically, what happened was they just provided me with false hope. And the person really had no idea what was wrong with me. So they prescribed me oxycodone, morphine, gabapentin, and Klonopin, just to name a few, all of which I became addicted to. So, along with my addiction, I developed clinical depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideation. And things were looking extremely bleak. Until July 17th, 2017, I met Caitlin Peterson, who is a hypnotherapist. And I didn't know it then, but that would be the turning point in my healing journey. Caitlin's office was down a long hallway. And one day while I was waiting for her, I heard the door to the building open and her coming up the stairs. She peeked her head down the hallway, saw I was sitting there, and jumped back. Seconds later, I hear dance music blaring, and she comes dancing down this hallway. Well, I didn't really know what to do with it at the time. I didn't know whether I should look up, if I should smile, if I should laugh. And she did this for months. Well, I knew her birthday was coming up, so I was extremely grateful for her. And I started learning the steps to a song, Good Morning by Mandisa. And I practiced it every single day for 3 months. And it took me 3 months because I am a really bad dancer, but I try. So, what I realized while I was learning the steps to my dance and having fun with my children, because I enlisted them in to help, my pain changed. It sometimes disappeared, sometimes moved, sometimes decreased. And that was my first aha moment that my pain wasn't physical. And I did dance down that hallway for Caitlin for her birthday. I also saw Wendy Newman, who is a somatic experiencing practitioner. And for those of you that don't know what somatics is, it's an alternate form of therapy to treat trauma and stress related disorders in the body. And what I realized from somatics is that there are other sensations in your body besides the ones that cause pain. So I want to do a little experiment with you. If you would take your hand and just let it hang, and if you can put your elbow on a desk in front of you, or you can hold it with your other hand. And just start to put all your awareness on your hand, noticing the palm of your hand, noticing the top of your hand, noticing the temperature, if it's warm or cool, if it's warmer on the palm, cooler on the top, and just noticing. Noticing each finger from the thumb to the pinky. And start noticing the weight of your hand. Noticing if there's any throbbing, any tingling, any pulsing. And just notice that before we started this presentation, you probably didn't even pay attention to the fact that you had a hand. So just notice, and you can put your hand down, that there's other sensations in the body besides the ones that are painful. So I learned that when I started leaning into positive sensations in the body, things that felt neutral, things that felt good, my pain started to go down because what we focus on grows. And when we focus on our pain grows. Now, I also learned through somatic experiencing that all emotions show up in the body. So when I felt emotions in my body, the pain would start to decrease. So somatic experiencing was aha moment number two. Then I read a book, The Presence Process, which taught a type of breath work called conscious connected breath work. And I did this twice a day for 20 minutes. And what it does is it basically recalibrates the nervous system from stress to rest. And in that state, my pain went down. And that was aha moment number three. So I started feeling relief, and I wanted to help others realize that pain is not just from something physically wrong with the body. So I went back to school and I became a somatic experiencing practitioner. I became certified in four different types of breath work. So I'm a breathwork facilitator, and I became a certified mind, body, and life coach. I started my own company, Feel to Heal Wellness, and I became the CEO of the Pelvic Healing Circle. So through this journey, I realized when people have pain conditions, they need to look at the emotional attachment and work through it. So that was the big turning point in my healing, realizing that my pain wasn't just physical, but deeply connected to my emotions, my stress, and how I was responding to life. So I want to give you a little taste of what that connection actually feels like. So let's do a short experiment together. I'd like you to think of a time you felt stressed, angry, or upset at something or someone. It doesn't have to be extreme. Maybe a fight with a child or a partner, a parent, a boss. Maybe a struggle with a doctor or a medical bill. And once you've chosen that moment, I'm just going to invite you to close your eyes, settle into your chair, feel your feet on the floor, and just sensing into the support behind you. And start connecting to that moment. Bring yourself back to the details. Who was there? Where were you? What happened that made you so angry or upset? What can you see as you're imagining this? What can you hear? What can you touch? What can you taste? What can you smell? And just with your eyes closed, noticing what you feel in your body, noticing what your body is doing. Is there a change in your breath, in your heart rate? Checking in with the different parts of your body, noticing any tightness or constriction. No right or wrong, just noticing. Noticing what comes up for you in your body while visualizing this event. And then coming back and opening your eyes. Now, you might have felt some tension in your chest, some constriction. Maybe your breath got a little faster. Maybe your heart rate got a little faster. Maybe there was some grumbling in your belly. So, as you can see by the experiment, there is a strong connection between the mind and the body. Now, the mind body syndrome was originally coined by Dr. John Sarno, who was the pioneer behind the chronic pain epidemic. Dr. John Sarno was a physician and professor of rehabilitation medicine at NYU for more than 30 years. And Dr. Sarno was frustrated by the lack of results with pain treatment. He revisited the science, conducted multiple trials, and discovered something incredible. The mind body syndrome is a theory backed by neuroscience that suggests that repressed emotions, particularly anger and stress, can manifest as physical symptoms such as chronic pain. Chronic pain is a result of the body's reflection of the mind. So I'm sure someone listening right now, and maybe yourself, knows someone who's struggled with chronic pain, migraines, pelvic issues, IBS, back pain, or fatigue. And it doesn't seem to have maybe a clear medical explanation. So, what we're talking about is the mind body syndrome. It's when real physical symptoms are present, but they're not caused by a clear structural issue or disease. And it's so common. Or The doctors sometimes see things on scans or MRIs like disc bulges or slight tears, and we think that must be it. That must be causing my pain. But the truth is, these are often just normal variations in the body, just like a baby's skin is soft and an older person's skin is dry. Neither is wrong, they're just different. The same goes for these findings on MRIs or scans. Just because something looks different, it doesn't mean it's causing your symptoms. So, this is a photo of me right before a surgery that I truly believed would be the answer to my pain. Since doctors found things on my scans, I wanted to correct it. I was doing everything right. I was going to the best doctors, trying every treatment, but nothing brought lasting relief. They found normal abnormalities that were not causing my pain. And now I know, looking back, it's because no one was talking about the brain's role in physical symptoms. That's why it's so important to look beyond structure and understand what actually drives mind body symptoms. Chronic pain isn't random. It's created and maintained by patterns in the brain and the nervous system. And that's where the six key factors for healing come in. These are the root causes we need to address if we want lasting relief. So think about it. How many of you were told over your lifetime to stop crying, be a big girl or boy, or felt, I can't get angry? What would people think of me? So emotions might have been stifled throughout your lifetime, and emotions are meant to be felt in our body and pass through us. So when we don't allow this process, the brain causes pain because it sees the emotions as dangerous. So the first factor that can cause pain is unprocessed emotions. Now, have you ever caught yourself beating yourself up in your own head? Thoughts like, this pain is never going to go away. What if this gets worse? I'll never be able to live a normal life again. Or I'll never be good enough. I'm so stupid. Why did I say that? These kinds of thoughts and these thought patterns are more than just discouraging. They actually create a physiological response in the body. Now, we can't eliminate stress from our lives. Stressful things happen. I'm sure you can relate to daily pressures like paying bills, juggling work deadlines, caring for kids, or elderly parents. These everyday stresses are part of life, but when they pile up, they can contribute to the causes of chronic pain. So the goal isn't to get rid of the stress entirely, it's to change how we respond to it. And that shift can make a huge difference in how your body feels and heals. So, chronic pain isn't just about injuries, it's deeply connected to how we live. High stress jobs, toxic relationships, and poor nutrition all contribute to the growing global chronic pain epidemic. And these factors put constant pressure on the nervous system, keeping the body stuck in survival mode. So, along with pressure that often comes with chronic pain, the pressure to heal quickly or to do it right. That pressure keeps our nervous system stuck on high alert. And life events, moving, divorce, or being bullied, especially in childhood, can leave a lasting imprint on the nervous system. There are actually a foundational study called the ACE studies, or the Adverse Childhood Experiences Study, which found a strong connection between early life stress and long term health issues. And it's including chronic pain. These experiences shape how the brain and the body respond to stress later in life. And then there's experiences like loss, illness, or physical and emotional abuse that can deeply impact the nervous system, especially when they happen early in life. And these kinds of stressors are part of what shape how the brain wires itself for safety, survival, and pain. That's why developing a mind body condition is influenced by all six core factors. The brain and the nervous system don't exist in isolation, they're shaped by the world around us. Genetics may install the light switch on the wall, but it's the environment that flips it on or off. So we need to address the root cause. Otherwise, it's like turning on a sink, letting it overflow, and constantly mopping the floor instead of simply turning the water off. So I'm going to invite you to come back to part two for more strategies on healing from chronic symptoms. I'll see you then.